Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'll be showing you how to create this beautiful textured bag. For this project I'll be using my yarn as well as a 3.5mm crochet hook. So I'm going to start by making a slip knot. And then I'm going to make 41 chain stitches. To make your first chain, yarn over your hook like that, and we're just going to pull the yarn through the hoop. That's a chain. We're going to make 41 chains in total. So continue doing that until you've made 41 chains. Now I've created my 41 chains. And what you should do next is count 3 chains from our crochet hook. So it would be 1, 2, 3. In that third chain, make a double crochet. To make a double crochet, we're going to yarn over a hook like that and insert it inside the third chain and pull up a loop. Now we have 3 loops on our hook. I'm going to yarn over, pull it through the first 2 loops, pull it through the last 2 loops. Now that's going to count as a double crochet. Now the 3 chains that we would have skipped, it's going to count as our first stitch. So it would act as our first double crochet, and the double crochet that we just made would act as our second double crochet. What I will do is place a crochet marker to the top of the stitch here, and that's because this is where we'll be closing out our round. Now we're going to make one more double crochet inside that chain. So yarn over your hook, insert it inside the chain and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull the yarn through the first 2 loops, yarn over and pull the yarn through the last 2 loops. Now we're going to make 1 double crochet in each chain going all the way across the row. So yarn over your hook, insert the hook into the next chain and pull up a loop, and we're going to complete the double crochet same as we've done before, but this time we're only going to do 1 in that chain and 1 in each of the other chains going across the row. So I'm going to do a few more. So continue doing double crochets until you're at the end of the row. So I've gone ahead and done 1 double crochet in each chain going across the row, except the last chain. In the very last chain, I'm going to go ahead and do 5 double crochets. So 1 in the same chain, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you'll see that it's going to give us that oval look for the base of our bag. Now after completing your 5 double crochets, we're going to do 1 double crochet in each stitch going across the row, and that's going to fill the other side to make our base for this bag. So yarn over, and in the next chain, which falls here, I'm going to insert our hook and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2, pull through 2 to complete the double crochet. So we're going to do exactly what we did on the other side on this side here. So 1 double crochet in each stitch. And if you have a tail, make sure that you're yarning over it so that you can hide it as well. So continue doing 1 double crochet in each stitch going across the row until we're at our last stitch here. Now our last stitch would have been where we would have done those 2 double crochets when we started. So in that stitch right here, and in the stitch we're going to go ahead and do 2 double crochets inside. One, two. Now the 2 chains that we would have skipped initially here, 1, 2, and then we would have done our 2 double crochets. The 2 chains counts as a stitch, so it's acting as a double crochet here. So it's really, if you count 1, 2, 3 plus the 2 we just added, which would be 5. So same to the 5 double crochets that we would have done on this end. Now to close out the round, you're going to make this loop a bit larger. And remember the marker that we placed here? We're going to remove that marker, and to the top of the stitch where the marker was, we're going to insert our hook from the back of the stitch, hook the loop to our crochet hook, and we're just going to pull it through. Now you can also pull on the yarn to adjust. And this is going to act as one of our stitches, so we want it to be similar in size to the stitches going around here. Now for the next row, we're going to do 1 double crochet in each stitch going all the way around. To do our first double crochet, we already have a loop on the hook. We're going to insert our hook into the same stitch here, pull through a loop. So now we have 2 loops on our hook. We're going to yarn over and pull the yarn through both loops, and then we're going to chain 1. That's going to be our first double crochet. In the next stitch, we're going to do a double crochet as normal. So yarn over your hook, insert it into the stitch and pull up a loop. Then we're going to yarn over and pull the yarn through the first 2 loops, and then pull the yarn through the last 2 loops. And to the top of that stitch, we're going to go ahead and place our marker, because this is where we'll be closing out the round. So in the next stitch, go ahead and do a double crochet. And for this round, we're going to do again 1 double crochet in each stitch going all the way around. So go ahead and continue doing double crochets going all the way around until you're here. In the last stitch here, I'm going to do my last double crochet of the row. And you'll see I've done 1 double crochet in each stitch. Even on this end here, you'll see 1 double crochet in each stitch. So now I'm going to close out the round, and I'm going to do it similarly to how I've done before. So make this loop larger, remove your marker. To the top of the stitch where the marker was, we're going to insert or hook from the back, hook it to our crochet hook and pull it through. Right, we're going to pull that loop all the way through and pull on our yarn to adjust the loop. Remember, we want this to be the same size as the other stitches because it will act as a stitch. Now I'm going to do another row of double crochets. So similarly to what we did before, I'm going to make my first double crochet here and chain one, and then make a double crochet in the next stitch. And atop that, I'm going to place back my marker and make one double crochet in each stitch going all the way around. So continue completing your other row of double crochets in the last stitch, which is here. And then we're going to close out the round in exactly the same way that we did before. Now we're going to start the pattern for our bag. Now we're going to start by chaining one, and then we're going to yarn over. We're going to do a front post double crochet. So insert your hook behind the stitch. We're going to pull up a loop and then complete a double crochet as normal. So yarn over, pull through those first two loops, yarn over, pull through the last two loops. Now we're going to skip 2 stitches, 1, 2, and in the next stitch we're going to do 2 double crochets, 1. Now before I do the next one, I'm going to place my marker here. So we usually place our marker after we've done our second stitch, because at the top of that is where we're going to close out our round. So we have one already, we're going to do another. So we have 2 double crochets, and then we're going to chain 1 and do 2 more double crochets inside the same stitch. 1, 2. So now we have 4 double crochets in total, and there's a little space that's created in the middle from our chain 1. Now after you've done that, skip 2 stitches, 1, 2, and behind the next stitch we're going to do our front post double crochet. So yarn over your hook, insert your hook behind the stitch and pull up a loop. Then we're going to complete a double crochet as normal. So yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Then we're going to skip 2 stitches, 1, 2, and in the next stitch we're going to repeat what we did here. So 2 double crochets, 1, 2, then we're going to chain 1 and complete 2 more double crochets in the same stitch. 1, 2. Now we're really just going to go ahead and repeat the pattern. So skip 2 and do a front post double crochet in the next stitch. And then skip 2 and then repeat the pattern from here. So 2 double crochets to start, chain 1 and 2 more double crochets in the same stitch. So go ahead and continue the pattern going all the way around. Now I'm almost finished. I just did a front post double crochet. We're gonna skip 2 and do our pattern in the next stitch. So 2 double crochets to start, 1, 2, chain 1, and then 2 double crochets in the same stitch, 1, 2, And if you see, we'd skip 2, 1, 2, and in the next stitch we already have our front post double crochet. So now we're going to close out the round, and we're going to do that in the same way that we've been doing before. So make this loop a bit larger. We're going to remove our marker, insert our hook from the back of the stitch where our marker was. I'm gonna hook it to our loop and pull it all the way through. And you can adjust it by pulling on the yarn. And once you're comfortable with that, you can just go ahead and chain 1 and complete a front post double crochet here. And then where we would have had our space between our 4 double crochets here. So remember, we did 2 double crochets and then a chain 1 and 2 more double crochets. The chain 1 would have created a space, and it's within that space where we'll be doing this pattern. So we're going to do a double crochet inside the space, and atop our first double crochet here we're going to place back our marker. Remember, the marker goes on top of the second stitch of the row. So this would be our second double crochet, and then we're going to chain 1, complete 2 more double crochets inside the stitch. So 1, 2. And then we're pretty much going to repeat that. So where there was a front post double crochet, we're going to place a front post double crochet, and where we have our space in between our 4 double crochets here, we're going to repeat that pattern. So 2 double crochets, chain 1, and then 2 more double crochets inside that same space. So I'm gonna do that one more time, where we have a front post double crochet, we place a front post double crochet right on top of it, and then where we have the space created between our 4 double crochets here, we repeat that pattern. So 2 double crochets, 1, 2, and then we chain 1 and do 2 more double crochets in the space. 1, 2. So go ahead and continue the pattern going all the way around. So we started the row with a front post double crochet, which means that we're going to end our row with the pattern here. So our 2 double crochets, chain 1 and 2 double crochets, and now we're going to close out the round, and we're going to do that in the same way we've done before. So make this larger. I'm going to remove my marker here, insert my hook from the back of the stitch, hook it to the loop and pull that loop through and adjust it. Once that's to my liking, I'm going to chain 1, do my first front post double crochet, so the same way that we did in the previous row, and then I'm going to find that space in between the 4 double crochets here and repeat the pattern. So 2 double crochets to start. Well, before I'm going to place my marker to the top of this stitch here, because again, that's where we close out the round. So this would be the second double crochet inside the space, chain 1, 2 more double crochets, and then we're pretty much going to repeat the pattern. So front post double crochet here, and in the space we're going to do our 2 double crochets, 1, 2, chain 1, and 2 more double crochets inside that space. So 1, 2. So go ahead and continue the pattern, and I'm going to do that going all the way up. You can do it until your bag is as high as you'd like it to be. So I'm going to close out the round, so I'm going to make this larger. But instead of doing it as we've done before, I'm actually going to cut my yarn here, because this is my last row. Pull the yarn all the way through. If you have a crochet needle, you can just go ahead and put your yarn through it. I'm going to remove my marker, and I'm going to insert my crochet needle under the stitch where my marker was. And we want this stitch to be similar in size to the other stitches as well, so you can pull on the yarn to adjust it. And inside our stitch here, we're going to insert our needle through the stitch as well as through the back bump here, and pull it through. And again, you can adjust it. And now it looks exactly like all the stitches going around. Now I'm going to weave my yarn through the back here. So now I'm going to show you how to go about making the handles. Now for my handles, I'll be using a lighter shade yarn, and I'll also be using this bag accessory here to do my attachment. I've actually done a tutorial on this bag handle, so if you don't have an accessory like this, you can go ahead and watch. I'll leave a link in the description below, so that you can follow that tutorial as well. So we're going to start by doing a slip knot on our accessory here. So I'm going to insert my hook on the inside, pull up a loop, going to twist it, and just complete my slip knot there. You can of course pull on your yarn to adjust the size. Now chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to make an unfinished double crochet. So yarn over your hook, insert it inside the bag accessory, and pull up a loop. Now with the 3 loops on our hook, we're going to yarn over and pull through 2, but we're not going to complete the stitch. We're going to leave the loop on our hook, and we're going to do that again. So now we have 3 loops on our hook. The chain 3 will count as our first stitch. This is our second, this is our third. With the 3 loops on our hook, we're going to yarn over and pull the yarn through all 3 loops. Now we're going to chain 2, 1, 2, and we're going to do 3 unfinished double crochets inside the accessory as well. So 1, remember we're not finishing the stitch, 2, 3. Now you'll see we have 4 loops on our hook, 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to yarn over, pull the yarn through all 4 loops, and then we're going to turn our work. Now the space that's been created by the chain 2 from the previous row is where we'll be working our stitches. Insert your hook inside and pull up a loop, and then we're going to complete a slip stitch. To do that, we're just going to pull this loop through the first loop that was on our hook. So I'm just going to pull it through. That's our slip stitch. So now we're going to repeat what we did in the previous row. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and inside the space we're going to do 2 unfinished double crochets. So yarn over, insert your hook and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through the first 2, but we're not going to finish it. I'm going to do that again. So this would be 3 stitches in total, or a chain 3 counts as a stitch. So we're going to yarn over and pull the yarn through all 3 loops that would have been on our hook. Chain 2. Then we're going to do 3 unfinished double crochets inside that same space. Now you should have 4 loops on your hook. Yarn over, pull the yarn through all 4 loops, turn your work, and complete a slip stitch. That's how we pretty much complete the round. So I'm going to do that again. 2 unfinished double crochets, and I'm going to yarn over and pull the yarn through all 3 loops and chain 2. Then do 3 unfinished double crochets here. 2, 3. Pull the yarn through all 4 loops, turn my work, and complete a slip stitch and repeat. So go ahead and continue doing that until your bag handle is as long as you'd like it to be. I'm just going to show you how I close out my round. I'm going to turn my work, complete my slip stitch as normal, chain 2, but remember I usually chain 3 here. For the next chain, I'm going to do that from inside my bag accessory. So 1, 2, and 3. And then I'm going to do 2 unfinished double crochets inside this space here. So it would be 1, 2. Then I'm going to complete the stitch through the accessory. So I'm just going to insert my hook inside the accessory and pull through a loop. Pull that through all the loops that would have been on my hook. Now I'm going to do 3 more unfinished double crochets inside here. So that's 1, 2, 3. And for the accessory, I'm just going to finish the stitch from inside there. Now once finished, you can make your hoop a bit larger, and then we're just going to go ahead and cut the yarn, pulling it all the way through. Gonna take my crochet needle, push my yarn through, then I'm just gonna weave the yarn through the back here. Now I'm gonna do my attachments. So I'm gonna do it through to each side here. And that is the finished look. If you found this tutorial helpful, please go ahead and hit the like button and subscribe to my channel for more great content like this. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments and I'll be sure to get back to you. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.